Alright, so far in this video, if you haven't heard of the game, all you've collected is that it's a Square Enix mobile game where you can play as different Final Fantasy characters. Not necessarily a super strong starting point, so we're going to dive into the various features here. This is the home screen where the characters pop up and it just displays them so you can see what you got, as well as gives you all the sort of mobile game accoutrement. You know, you've got some in-game and premium currencies, you've got like, login gifts, and you've got the different events that are going on right now, missions, there's tutorials actually under where my camera is right now. So this is all, again, basic stuff, nothing too fancy. So we are now going to dive into the first menu that I think is a major thing for me with Dissidia Omnia, and that is the story mode. All of the different quests and content you will access through this quest menu. And the thing you'll notice first is indeed the story mode. It's a fully fleshed out multi-act story that is still evolving as it goes. In fact, around the time this video releases, there's actually going to be a new addition to the second act of the story. There's also a theater mode to go back and enjoy all the cutscenes, but the biggest thing is just playing through the story. Now, I have a lot of positives, and I had a lot of positives 2 years ago and still do when it comes to the way the story mode is designed. You'll navigate these grids, and the different nodes mean different things. You have story cutscenes, you have character-specific story cutscenes, as well as the actual battles that will be taking place, and a loot that's strewn about. But the big thing is, because you earn the characters by playing through these stories, it's a very, I guess, measured way of progressing through everything. You feel good for going through the story, not just because you're learning more about the story, but you're encountering some of your favorite Final Fantasy characters and adding them to your roster just by playing through. Now, the big thing 2 years ago for me, when I made a video very similar to this, was that there was no stamina or energy system for the majority of the content in Omnia. 2 years later, I'm glad to see that is still true. You can play all of these pieces of content pretty much as you want. You will log in and go into the story mode and nothing will stop you. There's never going to be a reminder that you need to wait for your energy. There's never going to be something popping up asking you if you'd like to pay to progress further. You will download the game, and the story, the normal and hard modes after you clear it, will all be available to you to grind and go through at your own pace, whether that be 2 hours a day or 12 hours a day. That is a huge selling point for me, because nobody feels good when you pick up a mobile game and it's like, please wait 5 minutes or give me some of your money. This game doesn't do that. So it gets huge bonus points, and it gets even more for 2 years later, still being as honest and awesome as it is in that regard. Now, the story is a massive part of the game, and again, you do have a hard mode for all of these different story chapters after you've beaten them on the normal difficulty. And while that's great and ever evolving, we also have all these buttons here at the bottom. Events, Lost Chapters, World of Illusions, Abyss Beta, which I have something specific to say about in this video, as well as Dimensions End. So let's start with the Events tab on the left, and we'll move our way over to the right. The Events tab is where you will find current limited time events, whether it be a raid boss that everyone in the game is working together to beat, or a limited time character introduction where the character, a new one, will become available for people to recruit to their team. You only have to beat a very low level mission in order to initially obtain any of the units, and so when you start, completing whatever limited time character events are around is 100% the first step I would take after going through Chapter 1. On top of that, you also have some permanent events that are especially great for new players. Mog's Gym, both Novice and Intermediate, have a slew of rewards you'll definitely want to earn. Co-op quests will introduce you to the online co-op play, in which you will bring one of your characters and join 2 other people and their characters in a battle system. And in fact, I haven't really talked about the battle system, but we will get to that in a little bit. The cycle quests are basically daily rewards where you can earn resources for upgrading characters. The ones that are locked, you're not necessarily locked away from doing them, but you have to use a resource called a cycle quest key. These are given to you fairly frequently. I haven't logged in a pretty long time prior to the last couple weeks or so, and I even have 72 of these. You can earn these with daily points that you get from doing logins. You earn them from different character events coming around, and these can be used to unlock these cycle quests for 30 minutes. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Most people just tend to go through whatever cycle quests are available on the day when they're first starting up, and then once you've collected a bunch of cycle quest keys, that's when you tend to use them in conjunction with other things to go into these cycle quests and super grind out the resources that you need. But it's very simple stuff and stuff that any new player should be doing as soon as they are strong enough to do so. Now, lost chapters are actually enhanced versions of those character events that we mentioned earlier. Those character events are limited time, but eventually they come back around as lost chapters permanently. So these are all characters that were once available as character events, and now they can be earned at any point just by going through, again, a really low level quest and unlocking them very quickly. These also come with hard modes as well, some of which can get insanely difficult. And when they first release, they also have bonus limited time missions to earn bonus rewards just for doing them in a timely fashion. So Golbez being the most recent one, he had a bunch of bonus rewards for going through his. Now with that, that's pretty self-explanatory. They're just character events. Now those are probably the most basic things any new player in Opera Omnia will dig into, but there are also some more serious endgame features. World of Illusions, this is something that needs to be talked about very particularly. You can earn rewards that let you upgrade armor and weapons, you can earn artifact tokens, which lets you earn additional passives for the characters, and then there's also summons. You can earn and upgrade summons through these trials missions that you get here, as well as upgrade them even further and take on super hard challenges and progress your characters further through what is known as a summon board with these ultimate versions of the World of Illusions. Now this we need to stop and talk about, because I mentioned that the story and those other features we mentioned do not have a stamina system. The World of Illusions, however, does, but it is a very generous stamina system that, honestly, I feel like they could practically remove it. I'm going to move my camera slightly for this explanation, but you can see that right under my camera is stamina points that, you get a stamina point every couple of minutes, and, when you have enough stamina, you can actually click on a mission and do it. Now, the big thing for the stamina missions here, or for the missions in the World of Illusions, is that every time you gain 10 total levels across all your characters, you'll actually get a stamina potion, which will refill your stamina whenever you actually need to do so. So, for example, I have 700 of these stamina potions, and I get more, like, every day. So the fact that someone who has, like, a lot of super high-level characters and has, progressed through a lot of this game, and I've had to burn through dozens of them, I cannot scratch the surface on my stamina potion. So while there is a stamina system here, it likely won't get in your way very much. Maybe when you're first starting out, but likely not very much at all, because you also earn stamina potions from logins, from limited time missions, from daily points that you can earn. There's just so many ways to earn it that it's so hard to actually not burn through, or to not, be... What am I trying to say? It's hard to actually limit yourself via the stamina system. So honestly, in my opinion, they could just remove it, but that's not how the game is designed, so let's move on. Moving forward, Abyss Beta, this is actually a feature that's going to be going away on March 2nd of 2020, and it will, if I'm not mistaken, eventually be replaced with a full-on version that is no longer beta. This is really hardcore content, and we probably shouldn't spend too much time talking about it. Same with Dimensions End here. But basically, it's just super high-level content for people who have been playing for a while, have lots of really strong characters, and are still looking for a higher level of challenge. That is what you'll get out of Abyss Beta and Dimensions End, and as well as a bunch of hard modes and higher difficulties for the various character events and the story itself. Now, that's all content. That's great. But we still haven't touched on the most important thing, and point number 2 that we actually need to talk about. And that is monetization. Of course, it's a mobile game. It's a free-to-play mobile game. And they gotta earn their money somehow. But I have never played a game that is as free-to-play friendly as Dissidia Opera Omnia. And you know what? 2 years later, still the case. It's barely even an update video because, quite honest, a lot of it hasn't changed. So the draw/shops are where you'll go whenever you want to earn weapons for your character. The only thing you gotcha in this game is the character's weapons. Armors are earned from character events or purchased from tokens that you earn from playing the game. And honestly, even a bunch of these weapons can be earned from playing the game. There's tokens that let you buy different levels of weapons, and you earn those from playing the game as well. On top of that, the ultimate weapons, the EX weapons, can actually be earned in-game through very, very difficult content. But for the majority of the new players, this will be where you go to earn some of your earliest powerful weapons. There are different banners depending on what character events or limited time events are taking place. And because it's the 2nd anniversary, a lot of these, in fact, all of these, have one free draw. So if you're going to start, now is a really good time to do so. As for the actual draw, which, by the way, if you want, it does give you the percentage odds. It explains all the rules and percentage odds of earning different items. But there's 2 different systems. There's single draw and multi-draw. Now, a single draw uses what's called a draw ticket. And again, these you earn a ton of by playing the game. and they're one free draw. I'll throw one in there just for the sake of the video. You'll throw it in there and you'll receive an item back. You know, okay, I got a 3-star item, no biggie. But in fact, a lot of my best weapons have come from those single draw tickets. And any really hardcore player will tell you, draw tickets can be just, woof, they can bless you with RNG, and it is fantastic. The multi-draws guarantee you at least one of the rare items, but you can earn more than that. And they all also come with their entire rule set. Now, if you are rolling on these banners and you don't get the weapons that you want, you know, that can be kind of frustrating, let's be honest. They've added what we call a pity system. It's essentially an insurance that if you put enough of the resources you earn in-game into this banner, you can actually select rewards. For 100 points, you can earn a power stone. For 200 points, you can earn a book, which is used to upgrade these super powerful weapons, or you can earn the weapons themselves. So if your luck is just in the toilet, you can still manage to get all the best items in the game, assuming you've managed those gems in the top right and that resource in a sufficient way. All of those gems in the top right now are ones that I've earned in the last 2 weeks. And because of the sheer amount of content that I have available, I still have like another maybe 120, 130,000 more gems to earn once I actually go through it all. They're very, very generous with the gems, surprisingly so at times. And so while, yes, you could spend money on these gems and you could do additional pulls with that, you'll find that especially as a new player, there is just such an abundance of those things that you likely won't interact with any systems like that for a very long time. And if you're someone with a super high amount of luck, you will never dig into this. I have a friend who has 800,000 gems, and he has like every item that's come out, and he doesn't spend any money. It's unbelievable how lucky you can be. And also, just even if you're not, you can still guarantee the items that'll let you beat the content or collect them for your favorite character. There are also sometimes different chests that you can buy. Some of them have a few additional materials in them. Some of them have costumes for characters, but those are entirely optional. A lot of people I know don't touch them. I don't touch them, and yet it all works out in the end. I've bought a couple of them, I'll be honest, but I don't do it all too often, you know? So on top of that, there are items you can buy. These actually act as boosts in various missions, increase the XP, increased item drops. You earn those also from playing the game. So unless you really want to grind something out, you actually don't need to touch those all that much. So those are actually my two biggest points with Opera Omnia. The story mode with infinite, you know, you can just play as much as you want, and the stamina system that's in the World of Illusion barely getting in your way, as well as the super fair gacha system that is in Opera Omnia. It's kind of hard for me to not be drawn back to this one because it just feels like Opera Omnia cares more about the player than your average mobile game. On top of that, as a super Final Fantasy nerd, having these characters, which I'm sure you can identify a few of them that are in my current party, is great. And the majority of the progress you make for a character is actually through the different enhancements here. Crystal strength, those things that you earn from the dailies, the crystals, you'll use that to earn tons of additional power, increase the level cap of your characters, and really get them going more than standard levels were. Of course, you can just level off of various quests as well. That's, you know, your normal level, not your crystal level, so you'll usually do that as well. You've got the summon boards, which I mentioned from the World of Illusion Ultimates, where you go through these various boards and earn all sorts of bonuses for the characters, including additional loot as armor tokens, crystals, draw tickets, and there's tons of them. Like every character has these 5. You can see there's more summon boards on the way, all of which will come with tons of rewards because then you'll have it for every character to earn. That's something I've still barely scratched the surface on. You can also get items from the daily quests to quickly level up characters. That's what the level up option is for. Enhance Realize lets you upgrade various weapons, and by upgrading weapons to their maximum form, you can permanently earn passives or unlock all new passives altogether. You can see I have a ton of these weapons, most of which have been earned with like free draws or tickets, so it's crazy to see how many strong weapons and characters I actually have just through that. Armor, I said, is earned. You do get some armor pieces, like these silver and bronze armor pieces from the banner draws and the gacha as well, but these basically at most equate to small passives for each of the characters. As you collect these, it's worth fully upgrading them just to earn passives for characters, but these are kind of just like, you don't go after these, you just kind of obtain these as you play and then upgrade them. It's really the armor down here, which again you purchase with armor tokens that you earn from playing the game or from the character events. Artifacts are bonus passives. These These aren't actually acting as items. Once you fully upgrade this, the character that is associated with it will earn a passive. And then if you like the passive, you can keep it for the character and then use the artifact that made the passive as a crafting material. And then blooms, which are something you will probably not worry about as a brand new player, allow you to enhance a certain skill with a new passive for the characters you have fully upgraded blooms for. But that's something that you probably won't worry about right away. View and sell lets you view and sell the things that you want or don't want. Refine allows you to take rare materials and make books that allow you to upgrade certain weapons and armor to their maximum, push them to their very limits. That is also something you will do in the much further down endgame. And then of course summons, which all have the various effects. You can bring one to every encounter, and you can upgrade these all the way to level 30 as long as they have a summon board, or 20 if they do not. But this is just another progression system that's in there that you will no doubt be interacting with. But all of that is just, upgraded and earned from playing the game. And again, that's my big thing here. And of course, as a friends list, you can bring your friends' assists into the missions. There's also missions for you to earn additional rewards from, and tokens that you earn from the various events you can expend in the token exchange. Now, something I might choose to cut into the video early and do this kind of out of order is the actual combat. It's turn-based, like Final Fantasy X-ish turn-based combat. So I'm gonna just go into, something that's, I guess, kind of easy. Let's just go into a very basic battle, and I'll give you the gist of it, because I think that this is another really important thing that I might edit this part into the video a little earlier, just because, it's pretty important. So these are the assists. These are people who I'm following or are following me back, or people who I have no affiliation with, but I can choose to bring these into a mission. I'll bring one in just to show you. That's Garland from Final Fantasy 1. Now, if someone's following you, and you're following them back, you actually get more turns with that assist out, because it is a temporary assist. But here in battle, this is something that I'm not going to explain fully, because I feel like you should watch a separate video or learn it from the in-game tutorials. But basically, you have a health value and a bravery value. When your bravery value reaches 0, your character has its turn pushed back, and everyone on the opposing team gets a big boost based on the break bonus at the top. Your goal is simply to deal enough damage with your bravery to the enemy's HP to KO them. When you actually use an HP attack, that was me breaking it and also doing an HP attack, then it resets your bravery to 0, leaving you open to big counter attacks. So you have to play with those values very carefully. Make sure that they're used at the right times, and that you protect the characters who might be vulnerable because they just did an HP attack. So we also have a ton of different skills in battle. You earn these from collecting the various weapons or from upgrading the weapons that you have. So for example, with Squall here, we've got Renzo Kuken, kill him off, and then it'll go to the next wave, and when you complete all the waves, that's when you're actually done with the mission itself. We get to a boss wave against this big behemoth right here. And you know what? I feel like using my assist. So let me throw my assist out here with Garland. He'll be around for 5 turns. And unfortunately for this, our summon brothers at the bottom right will not be ready in time. On top of that, you can see the turn order at the bottom left. You can, of course, choose to pause as long as it's one of the single player missions, or if you want to see what your goals are for that actual mission itself. So there's all sorts of information here. And while this can seem a little daunting because my characters are super high level, they're glowing with power, it starts off very humble, and you will work your way into a lot of this stuff very gradually. So we're going to wrap that up, take care of him real quick. Boop. Gives you victory, lets you know that it's all over, sends you to a result screen, and you can see the items you picked up, the experience points you earned. Depending on what kind of content you're actually doing, you'll see all sorts of different things on the result menu. You can see here what my score was. Ooh, I set a new score. Rewards I earned for specific missions, items that I've earned, experience, and gil. And then it'll go back to the screen, and I can do the next mission. It's a very simple pattern that's very satisfying when you get into more serious content. If you're curious about that, while some of the videos are old, there's some great old videos I made on some of the content, and that'll give you a better idea of what the fights look like in longer stretches of time. Now, I might, like I said, I might edit this in earlier. If I do, then you're going to a completely different topic right now, and I'm sorry for jump cutting. If not, I think I've kind of just made my point here. Opera Omnia 2 years later, it just does it right. It's crazy to me that the game hasn't gotten out of hand after 2 years like some mobile games do, and is still very much, in tune with its player base, especially the team that actually communicates for the global version. They do a phenomenal job. They've gotten us tons of quality of life updates earlier, brand new quality of life updates. They've managed to get us some characters that come exclusively to the global version first, as opposed to when the Japanese version gets characters and then global gets them later. In fact, Beatrix from Final Fantasy IX was the first global first character last year, and for the second anniversary, Aranea from Final Fantasy 15 will be the next one. So they've done a great job at making the global version really feel special, and I want to give them a shout out in this video. And a thank you again for sponsoring this video, because it's just my favorite mobile game, and having opportunities like this is always great. So if you have any questions on Opera Omnia, either check out some of the old videos or ask them in the comment section below. If you're someone who's played Opera Omnia or has experience with the current version, please feel free to comment below and give people more information as well. More information can only be a good thing. But with that, I'm going to wrap up this pretty long video, edit it down, and get it to you guys ASAP. So one more time, if you liked what you saw, check the the description for a download link to support the sponsor and support me, and just use that comment section. But thank you for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and stay tuned for our next video. Thanks for watching, and until then.